There are demons who tear, burn, and destroy. But there are also those who whisper truths, guide destinies, and reconcile enemies. The earliest references to Gusion appear in the 16th century, in grimoires like Johann Weier's Pseudomonarchia Daemonum, and later in the Ars Goetia. His name is unusual. Scholars have suggested it may derive from a root word meaning seer or vision, already hinting at his connection with prophecy and hidden knowledge. Unlike other demons, Gusion is not described as a destroyer or a deceiver, but as a revealer of truth. Medieval magicians turned to him not for power over armies or storms, but for clarity of mind and glimpses into the fabric of destiny. This role set him apart from the many ferocious kings and dukes of hell. To summon Gusion was to seek judgment, reconciliation, and insight, functions that echo ancient traditions of diviners and oracles. Gusion is listed as the 11th spirit, holding the title of Duke. He commands 40 legions of demons, a vast number, yet his command is not one of violence, but of wisdom. His powers, he reveals the past, present, and future. He reconciles friends who have fallen into enmity. He grants honor and dignity to those who invoke him. Occultists saw in him a counselor, a mediator, and an advisor who could pierce through lies and guide humans toward hidden truths. His ability to reconcile enemies suggests a role not unlike that of a judge or diplomat of hell. Where other demons sow discord, Gusion repairs it. And where other demons cloud the mind, Gusion offers clarity. During the medieval period, demons were often divided into two categories: those who brought chaos and destruction, and those who granted knowledge, insight, or favor. Gusion clearly belonged to the latter. His story challenges us to think about the nature of truth itself. Is it a blessing or a burden? And if a demon can heal enmities and restore honor, then perhaps the line between angel and demon is thinner than we often believe. The name Sitri first emerges in medieval grimoires, though scholars have long debated its deeper roots. Some argue that it may be derived from Semitic words associated with concealment or desire, while others believe it is a Latinized corruption of earlier names, carried through centuries of oral tradition. Like many Goetic demons, Sitri may represent a distorted echo of ancient fertility gods. Figures such as Eros in Greece or Priapus in Rome embodied the uncontrollable force of passion, while Near Eastern deities tied to fertility and sexuality blurred the line between divine blessing and destructive temptation. When Christianity spread, these older gods of desire were no longer seen as divine protectors. Instead, they became demonized, recast as forces of sin and temptation, reshaped into spirits like Sitri. In the Ars Goetia, Sitri is listed as a powerful prince of hell. He commands 60 legions of spirits, a force both vast and formidable. He manifests with the head of a leopard and the wings of a griffin, a vision of primal instinct and predatory desire. His powers are clear and direct. Sitri can stir passion between men and women, inflaming love or lust with supernatural force. He is even said to compel people to strip themselves naked at his command, leaving them exposed and humiliated. Symbolically, Sitri's dual forms reveal his nature. The leopard represents stealth, instinct, and wild aggression. The griffin, a creature of myth, reflects power and majesty. Many grimoires warned practitioners that Sitri was unpredictable. To call on him without careful preparation could lead to humiliation, chaos, or even obsession. Stories circulate of magicians who sought Sitri's aid, only to lose control of their rituals, ensnared by the very desires they wish to inspire in others. His legacy endures not because he's monstrous, but because he is familiar. Sitri is a reminder that temptation does not always come with horns and fire. Sometimes it arrives as beauty, whispering promises too alluring to resist. Like many Goetic demons, Beleth could be a distorted echo of older mythological archetypes, perhaps a warlord, a god of passion, or a spirit of kingship who, through Christian demonology, was recast as a ruler of hell. Descriptions of Beleth are unforgettable. He's said to ride a pale horse, like a spectral monarch of the underworld. Before him, musicians blared trumpets, horns, and drums, their deafening sound heralding his arrival. The pale horse recalls biblical visions of the horseman of the apocalypse, a creature tied to death and judgment. The musicians, meanwhile, represent both majesty and chaos, overwhelming the senses and breaking the will of the summoner. Beleth is a king, and his dominion is vast. He's said to command 85 legions of demons, a staggering force that places him among the most powerful of infernal rulers. But his powers are not solely destructive. Beleth is associated with love, passion, and loyalty. The grimoires describe him as capable of making men and women fall in love, or inspiring devotion and submission to whomever the magician chooses. This duality, terror and love, is at the heart of Beleth's nature. He is both conqueror and seducer, a ruler who controls not only through fear, but through desire. Yet summoning him was no simple task. The texts warn that Beleth's arrival was so terrifying that magicians had to be firmly prepared or risk madness at the sheer force of his presence. The magician was to sit within a protective circle, holding specific tools and symbols, and be ready to command Beleth in the name of higher powers. When Beleth arrived, the summoner had to show courage. To flinch or cower was to fail. Beleth would test the resolve of the magician with his overwhelming presence, his horse, and his musicians. Only those who stood firm could hope to gain his cooperation. He is both a conqueror and a seducer, reminding us that authority is built not only on fear, but also on desire. What makes Leraje fascinating is how he embodies not just death, but lingering death. He is not simply a spirit of violence, he is a spirit of aftermath, the disease and infection that follow every battle. In the medieval world, wounds were often fatal, not because of the arrow itself, but because of the rot that came after. Leraje seems to personify this very terror. Leraje is described as a gallant archer dressed in green, a detail that sets him apart from most other Goetic spirits. Green is a colour with layered meaning. On one hand, it represents life, growth and vitality. But in the medieval mind, it could also represent rot, poison and decay. Leraje's green clothing perfectly symbolises his dual nature, a bringer of death who is nonetheless part of the natural cycle. According to grimoires, Leraje's primary power is to cause arrow wounds to become gangrenous, spreading sickness across armies. This description may sound supernatural, but it reflects a grim reality. In medieval warfare, battlefield infections killed far more soldiers than arrows or swords ever did. Leraje holds the title of Marquis, a noble rank of great importance. He commands 30 legions of spirits, making him a significant figure among the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia. But Leraje's powers are not limited to destruction. Curiously, he has the ability to both incite and settle disputes. When called upon, he can inspire conflict, but he can also bring about reconciliation when commanded by the summoner. Grimoires stress the importance of ritual circles, protective symbols, and commanding words of power. Summoners might call upon Leraje for insight into rivalries, to end disputes, or to gain the upper hand in strategic conflicts. But there is a warning hidden in every line about Leraje. Spirits of war are dangerous. Their power is unpredictable, and if respect is not shown, the summoner may invite misfortune. As Marquis of Hell, Leraje represents the thin line between conflict and peace, life and death, growth and decay. Unlike many demons who were born from ancient gods later demonized, Eligos seems to have always been a figure of cunning and subtlety, a spirit not of primal chaos, but of hidden wisdom. In many ways, Eligos represents the archetype of the cunning war advisor, the strategist in the shadows who guides kings and generals toward victory. Eligos is described as appearing as a knight bearing a lance, a standard, and often a serpent. The lance and standard immediately evoke imagery of battlefields and command. In medieval times, a knight's standard was more than decoration. It was a rallying point for soldiers, a symbol of leadership and order amidst the chaos of war. And then there is the serpent. In demonology, serpents often symbolize hidden knowledge, cunning, and the unseen forces that influence fate. Eligos is a Duke of Hell, a rank that commands respect and power in the infernal hierarchy. He leads 60 legions of spirits, making him a formidable presence among the Goetic demons. But his powers are what truly set him apart. Eligos is said to reveal the hidden thoughts of enemies, uncover secrets, and foretell the outcome of battles. He can also reveal where hidden treasures are buried, making him a spirit not only of war, but of opportunity. For occultists, Eligos represents clarity, the ability to cut through deception and understand the path ahead. In a world where knowledge was often power, the ability to predict the outcome of wars or disputes would have been invaluable. Eligos is said to appear with dignity, sometimes even respectfully. This has led some practitioners to view him as a noble spirit among the infernal host. Summoners often called upon him before making crucial decisions, whether in matters of war, politics, or even business rivalries. He was seen as a spirit who could offer insight and strategic guidance, but only if approached correctly. Some modern practitioners even call upon Eligos for guidance in complex negotiations, to reveal hidden motives, or to offer insight into future outcomes. In a way, Eligos reminds us that true power is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, patient, and cunning. The kind of power that knows when to strike and when to hold back. Who is Zepar really? Why did medieval magicians summon him at great personal risk? And why does he represent both the joy of passion and the tragedy of heartbreak? Though his exact etymology is uncertain, some scholars suggest Zepar's name may be related to words, meaning clothing or covering. This is particularly symbolic, as he is believed to cloak the mind in passion, hiding rational thought beneath the veil of desire. Medieval magicians considered Zepar a spirit of temptation and transformation. To summon him was to invite chaos, for love magic was among the most unpredictable forms of ritual work. In the Ars Goetia, Zepar is described as a Duke of Hell, one of the highest-ranking spirits in the infernal hierarchy. He commands 26 legions of demons, an impressive number that reflects his status and power. Zepar's abilities are clear. He causes women to fall in love with men, igniting powerful and sudden desire. Some texts also note that he can make women barren, a darker, less romantic aspect of his power that may symbolize the destructive side of passion. Occultists often interpreted his power as both literal and metaphorical. While some summoned him for love spells, others saw him as a representation of the mind's ability to influence others, to seduce, and to control situations from behind the scenes. He represents the double-edged sword of desire. On one hand, love and attraction can unite, inspire, and create life. On the other, they can lead to jealousy, conflict, and heartbreak. He teaches that desire can build bonds or break them, inspire great acts or unleash great tragedy. Whether viewed as a spirit, an archetype, or a cautionary tale, Zepar's place in demonology challenges us to respect the forces of love and lust that shape our lives. While his exact name's origin is debated, some scholars believe it derives from words connected to prophecy or revelation, fitting for a spirit known to reveal the past, present, and future. Botis is listed as the 17th spirit and holds the dual rank of President and Earl of Hell. This dual title suggests he is both a leader and a mediator, a commander of forces and a diplomat. Botis commands 60 legions of spirits, a testament to his power and influence within the infernal hierarchy. His appearance is striking. He first manifests as a viper, a symbol of hidden wisdom and danger. Then he transforms into a man with large teeth and 2 small horns, a vision both fearsome and commanding. Botis's powers are among the most practical of the Getic spirits. He can reveal events of the past, present, and future, making him a sought-after spirit for divination. He is also said to reconcile friends and foes, healing old wounds and turning conflict into cooperation. Occultists who worked with Botis often saw him as a mediator not just between people, but between ignorance and knowledge. His ability to reconcile enemies reflects the deeper spiritual lesson of turning conflict into understanding. Interestingly, some practitioners considered Botis to be one of the safer spirits to work with, since his focus was on revealing information and offering guidance rather than bringing harm or chaos. Still, grimoires warned that respect was essential. His story reminds us that not all spirits were feared as agents of destruction. Some, like Botis, were respected as guides and teachers, forces that could illuminate the hidden and restore balance to fractured relationships. But as with all things in the occult, knowledge comes with a price. Botis teaches us that truth can heal, but it can also wound, depending on what we do with it. His power lies not only in commanding legions, but in unlocking the secrets of the earth itself. He holds the knowledge of herbs, stones, and that to transport a person from one country to another in an instant. Bathin is listed as the 18th spirit of the Ars Goetia, and his name likely derives from ancient languages suggesting travel, paths, or journeying. Bathin's association has always been with knowledge, specifically the properties of herbs and stones. This would have been considered highly valuable knowledge during the Middle Ages, when both medicine and magic relied heavily on the natural world. He is a symbol of the mysteries of nature itself, guiding practitioners toward understanding the hidden powers within the earth. Bathin holds the rank of Duke in Hell's infernal hierarchy. As a Duke, he commands 30 legions of spirits, a formidable number that would have impressed, and perhaps terrified, the magicians who first recorded his name. Bathin's appearance is striking, a strong man with a serpent's tail. The serpent's tail is deeply symbolic. Across cultures, serpents represent hidden wisdom, transformation, and sometimes danger. Bathin's tale may suggest that his knowledge is powerful, but not without risk. His primary gift is medicinal, poisonous, or magical knowledge. His second power is even stranger. Bathin can transport a person instantly from one country to another. Some scholars suggest this ability may be metaphorical, referring to spiritual or astral travel. The idea that Bathin can guide the magician's soul or consciousness over vast distances. For a medieval practitioner, this would have been a priceless gift, granting knowledge of faraway lands or secrets hidden beyond reach. His path is one of transformation and movement, a journey that may lead to hidden truths but also to unforeseen dangers. He is said to appear as a gallant soldier. Sallos first appears in the Lesser Key of Solomon, where he is described as a spirit who can kindle true affection between men and women. Sallos embodies the eternal paradox, the union of love and battle. To summon Sallos was to call upon a spirit who could make hearts burn with loyalty or lust, depending on the will of the conjurer. In some traditions, he was invoked by knights and nobles, seeking to secure devotion, fidelity, or the favor of lovers beyond their reach. Yet, just as easily, his touch could twist desire into obsession or jealousy. This duality reflects the human struggle between tenderness and possession, emotion and control, the thin line that separates love from madness. The artists who illustrated him in Renaissance demonology depicted a handsome soldier in armor, calm, regal and noble in bearing, unlike the monstrous forms of other demons. To some, he symbolizes romantic harmony, a spirit of balance and honesty in relationships. To others, he is the embodiment of emotional manipulation, the danger of forcing affection where it should not exist. Psychologically, Sallos represents the archetype of Eros, the force that binds individuals through desire and devotion. Through the centuries, his legend endures as both a warning and a wonder, that passion, when wielded without wisdom, is a force as dangerous as any infernal fire. He is Purson, the great king of hell, the seer of secrets, the keeper of wisdom. In the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, written by Johann Weyer in 1577, Purson appears as a mighty king, serving under Lucifer himself. He was described as a truth-teller who revealed what was hidden, secrets buried in the earth, or mysteries locked within the human heart. Unlike many of his infernal peers, Purson was not purely destructive. His role was that of revelation, not chaos. And while the church branded him a demon, occult scholars throughout history suspected something deeper, that Purson was once a being of light and knowledge, later recast as infernal as the tides of faith changed. He can uncover hidden treasures buried deep within the earth. He answers truthfully to all questions, even those concerning divine or secret matters. He is also said to summon good familiars, spirits that aid magicians in their pursuits of wisdom or discovery. Unlike deceitful demons, Purson's knowledge was said to be pure, but dangerous. For the magician who summoned him risked learning truths not meant for human minds, and perhaps that is Purson's most haunting gift. The power to reveal not just the unknown world, but the hidden depths within ourselves. He is described as a man with the head of a lion, riding upon a bear, and carrying a viper in his hand. His presence, according to the grimoires, is not terrifying but commanding. Magicians were advised to approach him with respect, for he valued order, intellect, and discipline. In many interpretations, Purson embodies the concept of the noble adversary, not an enemy of humankind, but a challenger of its ignorance. He is a mirror for humanity's oldest desire, the hunger for knowledge. His legend reminds us that enlightenment often comes at a cost. To know too much is to see too far, and in those depths, not all truths are kind. For centuries, those who invoked Purson did not seek riches or power, but understanding. In modern occultism, his sigil is often used as a focus for meditation, a symbol of inner revelation and the courage to confront the unknown.